Why is there two?
Huh?
Why is there two?
There isn't two. There isn't two, sir.
Oh, okay. That was last week's.
Mm-hmm. Hello, hello, hello.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Excuse me, there's a message. Hey, can you do me a favor and
Unplug?
no, just push the
Do not disturb.
hush yourself button. It'll light up. It'll light up red.
Oh, protect your keys.
What up, yo? What up? What up? What up?
Hey, Kim.
Told you to protect your keys.
She is like ruthless. Yes, give me just a second. I'll tell you what. If you, I
Your
will.
receding hairline.
I will entrust in you. Take the link for this live and put it in Big Bear. Give me the phone back.
Mine's out there. Use mine.
Cause you know that's something really stupid.
Look at this. What's up, y'all? For a $20 super chat, I will give Robin a wet willy.
Hey, no. What? You get away from me. That's grounds for divorce. That ain't even cool.
What's up, Pooper Scooper? How you doing, buddy?
What up? I was about to call him by his name, but I'm not going to do that. What? Dude! Stop pushing. This is not your show.
I think that face was want to bet.
Whatever.
Huh?
Hold on, let me move out of the way so you can be in
Right,
here.
come in here and sit down.
No, you know what she's doing? She's licking my fingers because what we had for dinner was
Yeah, that
finger
fried
licking
chicken.
good. Yep. That was finger licking good.
So now you're going to your butt? What's up with that? You're not even on the screen.
Well, yeah, kind of. I could see her eyes right at the bottom.
Did y'all hear that?
Mm.
Y'all hear that?
Puppy! Yeah, April, you gotta make your way back down here so you can meet Lagartha. Hey, baby.
Her gas is just as bad.
It is. It's pretty bad. Oh, I really should have done that. Come here. Oh.
She's Robin's dog.
I go.
What was dinner?
We had
Some of our pasture.
fried chicken
Fried
from our pastured chicken. You see her. She is like trying to lick my mouth. Not just that, but we had some of our greens.
Yep. And collard
Which were
greens.
fantastic. Hey, baby.
Yep.
Did you miss me today?
What else did we have? We had rice.
I haven't even eaten any of that yet.
Yeah, rice was okay.
I was all about the chicken and the greens.
Yep, we took the legs, the thighs, and the wings, and we fried them regularly. And then Carol cut up the breasts and made
Tenders.
chicken strips.
Chicken strips.
Chicken strips.
Okay, Mommy's got to do a story. Mommy's got to have the live now. You got to get down.
No, ain't gonna do it.
Baby, you got to. You would have never guessed that I haven't been home all day. Hey.
That's pathetic.
This has got to be uncomfortable for you, baby. You go lay down, okay?
Chicken, rice, and gravy for
Ooh,
April.
there you go. Go lay down. Go lay down. There you go. That's a good girl.
I mean, you took up like the whole screen, dude. Now you're gonna harass the cat.
Yes. I gotta do something about homegrown huggies. I gotta do something about this. This is too tall. It needs to be closer to where our faces are. There we go. That's better. Ooh, ha, cha, cha. There we go. That's better. Okay. Yes, she is sweet.
You just gotta wind her up.
We love. Don't do that. Just go. Like, stop. Jason, now quit. Loves pet. And then he wonders why she likes me better.
What do you want? Come on. Okay, so.
Touch grid, off grid. What's up?
What are you looking sideways at? You snap your neck like a chicken.
Okay, so our story this week. Once upon a time, there was this beautiful young maiden that loved to plant fresh vegetables in her garden that she grew from seed. Will you stop? Stop. People are gonna think that she's being aggressive, and she's not. She likes to play.
She likes kung fu.
Stop playing kung fu with daddy. Stop. With daddy. Stop. She's going to start going after your feet.
Not once
Come
did she even touch me with her teeth.
You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yes, I'm so proud of you. You love playing with the daddy, don't you?
You just want to be on. Okay, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Is this the Lagertha show?
What do you want to talk about tonight?
We're talking about food tonight.
No, I want to talk about those Grub Terror treats.
Yeah, right? Did you like those treats?
All right, get down.
All right,
Either
so
on the bed. Hey, either on the bed. No. On the bed or lay down. Those are your two options. All the way. Put your head down.
Kibbles.
So, let's see. Are you done?
That's how we played too with Tug of War. Our dog sounds so vicious. Yeah, so one of the things that we found with her is that she has this like purr. And it's not a growl. It sounds kind of like a growl, but it's not a growl.
It's more like a moan. It's more like, oh that feels so good.
Like when you scratch her or whatever, she's like, oh.
Why did all the animals end up in here?
Smalls isn't in here.
We're just going to let the animals just do the live stream tonight?
No.
Hey, it's
Smalls isn't in here.
It's the Floki and Lagertha show.
Come here,
that
Floki.
That thing that
Yeah, Carol did a
Pixar movie.
TikTok with Floki and Lagertha in a Pixar movie. Using AI. Yeah. Okay, get down. Okay, now for real, let's start the show. Okay. And now that we've been interrupted.
All right. Well,
by
last
animals.
week we started talking about growing your own food and,
Yes.
and being sustainable.
Yes.
With it and what that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about only grow what you eat. If you don't like broccoli, don't grow broccoli because you're just wasting square footage. You're just wasting landscape for something that you're not going to eat.
Right.
Unless, of course, there is that loophole or the caveat. Unless you're growing stuff for animals.
Right.
Like, I like beets. Robin and the girls don't really like beets. So we grow beets, but the majority of the beets go to the animals. Because I probably eat about maybe half a dozen beets, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Well, and so the other thing, too, though, like something specifically like broccoli, if you don't like it, it takes up a lot of space, even if you were going to feed it to your animals. You could certainly find something that provides, like one of the things, I don't know how many of you are following us on the different social media platforms, but I believe in one of the Big Bear platforms today on Facebook,
I believe.
I posted a picture of something called tatsoi. And that is a green.
That's a bok choy.
And it does kind of look like a bok choy, but it looks like a spinach too. I think it's called like a spoon spinach or spoon. So anyway, it's a really cool looking plant. And it tastes somewhere in between a spinach and a mustard. It's definitely a green, but if you do your research on this particular green, it is chocked full of vitamin C, vitamin D, carotene, like all of these different things that are, really good for you. So, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And it looks like it would be a beautiful, like if you were doing an edible landscape, like it looks like it would be one of these beautiful plants that you could put into a landscape and not realize that it's something you could eat. Which brings me to something else really quick. We were in Clemson today, and we were going by a neighborhood, and a lot of the neighborhoods up there have these beautiful, all of this beautiful landscape. And LaDessa looks, and she goes, "They seriously have giant red mustard leaves in their landscape?" And I turned back and looked, and sure enough, the beautiful red mustard greens that we have out there in our spiral garden, they're using for those for a landscape to make them look really pretty. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. I don't know, and I don't.
What's he talking about?
The shot.
Oh.
I don't know, and I don't.
Oh, I thought that said job.
Jab.
Let me clean my glasses.
Yeah, I don't know, and.
As far as I know, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because 90% of the people that work there are like family anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
So. Yeah, I better clean them. I can't read that with my glasses off. Who's it from?
You just posted something on Facebook 5 minutes ago.
I did.
Yeah. I'm so glad to have my lovely daughter, LaDessa. She's the greatest. And let's be honest, my favorite daughter I could ask for. And I love her. Oh, she even messed up some words so it looks like you. And I love her so much. And she totally didn't hack his Facebook to post this. Love you, Pops. Don't leave your phone unlocked and unattended.
You know that moment when you
that apple does not fall far
when you
from
realize
the tree.
that your children are just like you. And it's not funny anymore. That's the moment I'm having right now.
I was wondering why Winston said, "Jason, your daughter has hacked your phone." Anyway.
Don't do it.
Oh, he's going to try. Oh, no problem.
I
All
thought
right.
he was gonna hit me.
So, let's talk about
We
food.
gotta clean that.
Let's talk about growing your own food.
And grounding our children.
Last week, we talked about just the beginning of it, of deciding what you're going to grow, where you want to grow it, that kind of stuff, right? What are you doing?
Lagatha, go bite LaDessa off the butt.
Jess outside milking.
I know. Well, Lagatha was in here panting.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hardly hear.
Wow, y'all situational awareness is in the trash.
Because we can see.
Now she's right outside the window.
Tonight's just a goofball night for the live stream because we're not between the dog, the children, the cat.
We're trying. Really are trying. Well, how about this? Let's throw it out there. How many of you think that you would characterize yourself as self-sufficient in growing your own food? What? What? No?
Anyway, so I thought you was going to throw out something cool.
Wow.
thought you was fixing to drop the thing that we're gonna be doing on Christmas Eve.
Well, let's see. It's about halfway through, so I guess we can announce that now. So next week, our live stream is going to be Christmas Eve, right? Because Christmas is on a Monday this year, so Christmas Eve will be Sunday. So we just learned that through YouTube, we are allowed to gift some things.
Oh, this is where you want me to take over talking?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've always been allowed to gift these, but now they made it easier to be able to gift memberships.
Mm-hmm.
So on Christmas Eve,
hey, Grammy Karen,
we are going to gift to 10 lucky viewers that are not members already memberships. And we're even gonna throw in for one the top tier membership, 1 or 2.
Yeah, we're gonna give away 1 or 2 of the top memberships.
So the top membership, and then like 9 or 8 of the middle.
And that'll be for 1 month.
For 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have access to the after shows.
At the top. Yeah, that's the medium, right? Mm-hmm.
The top tier individual will also get a the coupon for the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you'll get the newsletter. Both tiers get the newsletter.
I think both tiers will get the newsletter.
Yep. Will get the
Yep. So you'll get a monthly newsletter. You'll get the after show for the month. We do one every week, and then the top tier will get the coupon for the...
And members that are already members, don't fret. We've got something in mind for y'all as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be huge. So
set your reminders for next week, because obviously YouTube's not throwing it out there for us.
Set your reminders, tell a friend, and because we're going to be talking about it, y'all got the inside scoop, so we're going to be posting it all on all of our other social medias. So we'll probably get a halfway decent crowd next week, and it will be on like don't get caught.
Mm-hmm. So Grammy Karen said they're in a good spot as far as being sustainable.
Okay.
Windswept says at most we're only 20 to 30%. Dutch Grid says not even close.
I think somebody was doing a little early April Fool's joke.
What?
Windswept.
Well, I can see like the problem is.
Well, I guess that I bet that was Karen that answered it. So probably in her mind.
Well,
or her perspective is better to say.
Well, I mean, when you can't grow wheat, you can't grow sugar, can't grow rice. That takes up a good little bit of the chunk.
Yeah, no.
Coffee, tea.
But we learned, and we're gonna try it. A different way to make coffee.
Well, we knew about it. I just could never get you on board. And now all of a sudden you found out about it and you're like, ooh, let's try this. I'm like, okay. I brought it up years ago. Matter of fact, I'll tell you when I brought it up. I brought it up when we were talking about...
Are you sassing me and hitting me?
No, I'm not hitting you, baby. I'm hitting on you, aren't I? Let me see your other arm. Did you get bit? Get off this arm.
It's called muscles.
No. That feels really tough right there. In the summer, it's a lot more. So, Karen, you guys storing storing food? Yeah, she says we don't grow our own feed for the cows. So yeah, I mean, there's see, she's just more accurate with her percentages. Men tend to be like, oh, we grow 90% of everything that we use on the homestead. What they really mean. I could really go a totally different direction with this, but we're just going
Stop on your
along. You're sleeping on the couch tonight.
I can't. I gotta sleep with my machine.
I'll sleep on the couch then.
Alrighty. Sure you
No
will.
problem with that.
Okay.
So Grammy Karen
Excuse me,
says,
there is a message for you.
I thought she turned it off. I'm gonna tell you what. Move.
You gotta
Move. No, you don't.
Yes, you do. The FBI's gonna keep interrupting. So let's see if I can make it do it. There we go. Boom.
Really?
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Okay. So yeah, in the summer, everybody obviously is gonna have a lot more. No, it's not. That's my phone, because I haven't turned off my ringer. During the summer, obviously, people have the tendency to grow a little bit more than in the wintertime.
I mean, we know a way to talk, to switcheroo the coffee.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I learned about that back before our decision to do the 2020 thing, when we were gonna not buy anything for 2020.
On Christmas Eve too.
Mm-hmm. And
Or New Year's Eve.
we were trying to do research for all of that stuff, and that was when I found out about that, and I found out that we have an immense amount of it growing wild very close around here, so I can forage it from all over the place before even growing it.
Chicken in my goatee.
You're looking a little scruffy on the sides. You see he's growing his beard out, y'all.
Yeah, I gotta just get it all kind of even again.
Caught up.
Something is itching.
So Windswept said our garden got eaten twice by deer. Then our cow got in and ate all of the corn. Been there. Been there. The goats wiped us out.
And Sam's not hunting. Why? Anyway, so when it comes to we just got to talk about the coffee.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to the wheat, you can supplement. That was the word I was looking for. Or switcheroony for you can do cornmeal.
Substitute.
You can do cornmeal.
Mm-hmm.
And rice, take it or leave it. That's what you got potatoes.
You know, we never grew it, but apparently there is a rice strain that you can grow here in Carolina.
Yeah,
We never tried to grow it. It's supposed to need a whole lot less water than what the traditional rice needs.
Yeah.
But we
You
never
know,
tried
if you
it.
had access to a beaver swamp, you might be able to get away with
I don't know.
growing
rice paddies?
growing some rice down there.
I don't know.
Somebody needs to look that up.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, but again, it had to be a huge beaver swamp.
Mm-hmm. Well, so here's my thing that I want everybody to think about.
And then don't you have to? You got to dry it out or process it somehow. You got to dehydrate. I don't know that much about rice, so. But anyway, you can substitute. You know, you could go Jerusalem artichokes. You could do more potatoes.
Pasta.
I mean, you have to make it out of cornmeal. You know, right? Yeah. So
No. Didn't we learn that you can make flour out of
acorns.
Lamb's quarters?
Yes.
So you could make a green pasta out of lamb's quarters.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being, there's so much information out there. There's so many possible substitutes for things. This is the
And
time.
some of it is actually grown in the wild.
This is the time right now to start looking that stuff up and paying attention to it before you don't have access to it. Because, make no mistake, we're on our way to where that will be a reality at some point. So if you find something that you like as a substitute and you need certain steps to be able to do it, like for instance this week we made yogurt. Right now it's pretty easy to look it up on the internet for a recipe. If you make it enough times, you'll remember it and commit it to memory. You don't really need the recipe.
Or you print it out.
But you can print it out, or if you don't have a printer, because some people don't have a printer,
Go to your local library.
Get yourself some index cards and write them down. Write them down, y'all. You don't need a printer. You don't need to go to the library. Get you a piece of paper, write it down, and make yourself a notebook.
Well, if they all write like your children, then...
Do better. That's all I'm going to say. Do better. Do better. Print. Anyway, regardless, there are a lot of opportunities for substitutes out there. And like Jason was saying, there are several that are wild. One of the things that we've found recently is there is an abundance of mushrooms around us.
Yes.
And, there's so many that you need to really start paying attention to, like, what ones grow where. Because here's the thing. Mushrooms are spores. And so they've infected certain trees. Or certain areas.
I wouldn't use the word infected.
Whatever. Anyway.
Infested. Moved in.
Anyway. Incubated. Whatever. They're in logs. They're in ground. Whatever. So they're going to continue.
Still up, it's not really a log.
They're going to continue. I swear to you, I have a feather in my mouth. This is what happens when you grow your own chicken.
You gotta pluck it before you can eat it, Robin. What are you, a werewolf or something?
Anyway, it's stuck in my retainer. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, so...
You don't have a retainer.
Mm-hmm. It's...
Huh.
18 years and you just figured that out?
I'm sorry. I'm not staring at the inside of your teeth.
I would have figured without getting too graphic, you would have, noticed it. Anyway, so, back to finding substitutes. With mushrooms, they will find their way to be out in the wild, and then once they've established, they're gonna, Carol knows where she can go find certain mushrooms on her property. They're always gonna be there. As long as she doesn't, totally obliterate what it, where it is. If it's a log and it gets, carried away and we don't use it in it, whatever. But that's something that just keeps growing.
Well, also you guys door dashing to fill the gap with our bills, with our finances, you've come across a spot for
Chicken of the Woods
and Lion's Mane. Yeah.
Which is very cool because we've never seen Lion's Mane out in the wild before. Never seen Chicken of the Woods out in the wild before. But this one area where we go, I don't know if one of the people
hope the guy's not just tossing spores out there.
I mean, he could be.
Then ordering DoorDash, and here comes Robin going, ah!
I mean, he could, but see, the thing is, because we thought about that. The thing is that there are random spots where you wouldn't expect somebody to just be like, here, let me put some spores out for them to grow. You would think that they'd want to protect those and have them in an area where they could harvest them. And they're on random parts of the road, on the side of the road. They're not close to somebody's house or anything like that. So, kind of weird. I do want to, since we're going to Augusta at some point, we'll be down that way. I want to swing by there and see if anything's grown. since we've been
That
gone.
lion's mane was really good.
Oh, it was
very,
so good. Like,
Very good.
I'm to the point where we're going to grow. We have to grow it here. We have to figure out a way to grow it here because it is fantastic.
Buckets and keep Gizmo away from it.
So good. I mean, it's got a good like if you were a vegetarian and you didn't want to eat you wanted something that was substantial because a lot of vegetables are kind of like when you cook them they're kind of, I don't want to say mushy, but like they don't have like a meat texture to them. But like that lion's mane had a nice like texture. It wasn't a steak by any means, but it definitely wasn't like when you think about mushrooms and how they can get kind of not slimy, but you know what I mean? Like they don't really give you any resistance. But those lion's mane, they were a little chewy, like chewy in a good way, not chewy in a, rubber chicken kind of chewy.
This would be the spot where if I could do Chewbacca.
But it was really good. So we have to certainly look into that. Another thing that I think people leave off of this list, everybody's always so focused on, gotta grow my corn, gotta grow my tomatoes, gotta grow my, whatever. But nobody ever really talks about fruit. And that was one of the things when we were planning ramping up for 2020 before all heck broke loose. That was one of the things that we were concerned about. Because we didn't have a lot established in the way of fruit. The only thing we had at that point was our muscadines. And the muscadines won't come in until like October. And so by then we would have been, 10 months, or not October, September. Yeah, late August, early September. So we would have been like 9 months into our, voyage before we could get fruit. And that's a problem. So that's something to think about when you're talking about wanting to be self-sustainable or self-sufficient when it comes to food. It's not just about corn. It's not just about, tomatoes and watermelon. Watermelon's a fruit, so that's one to think about. Cantaloupe, blueberries, any kind of perennial or not perennial, right? Perennial fruit is something to think about. How many of you guys have that? Like, do you have any grapevines? Do you have any blackberry bushes, raspberry bushes, blueberry bushes, kiwi, anything like that? Because that's one thing that I feel like we totally miss. Well, most people don't talk about.
Well, a lot of things that we were kind of cranking you guys up to start thinking is about growing all of this stuff takes square footage.
Mm-hmm.
Growing all this stuff takes land, takes how can I say this?
Well, so a lot of
wait, let me get my thought out here. You, with everything that's going on right now, and you guys know that we come from a preparedness background. It's where we started, and we took the journey, and we moseyed on into homesteading. I think I got a splinter.
Strawberries, that's another one. Good job, Mark.
Yeah. And one of the things that, whether you came from a preparedness background and you just dove right into homesteading and now you're looking at the state of affairs, and like how Robin said that sometimes some things in the near future we might not have access to. So we have to think about how we can grow a lot in little spaces, a little amount of spaces. And one of the things that we do need to kind of think about is to try to make it all blend in. So you really kind of have just a couple of options. You can do raised beds and do square foot gardening and companion planting. You could do a food forest. You could do, you start really developing a permaculture standpoint to where companion planting at the core of it is one of the root things when it comes to permaculture, in my opinion, because the whole idea is being able to use what you have and to its utmost potential. I guess is just how I'm trying to get this out here, and I'm struggling. And so one of the things that, did you set that up so we can show that?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that while Robin's looking up something I want to share with you guys is this book. It's called The Secret to Companion Planting. Carrots love tomatoes and roses love garlic. For a lack of a better term, this should be one of your gardening Bibles. This should be one of your gardening books of your gardening Bible. Because it does really, really well at explaining not only who loves one another, but who are enemies of each other, and what makes them have that relationship that makes them work well together. And so to be able to get all of this going and to be able to get it all started, it starts right now. This is your time right now. If you're going to go the food forest route, or you're trying to put in an orchard, you're going to go bare root. In some cases, a lot of y'all farther north than us, you kind of missed that window of opportunity. You're going to have to wait till it thaws back out. But this will be the time to try to get your bare root fruit trees and stuff like that in the ground, because see, we're not freezing yet. What?
We are just not.
We're not
like
hard freezing. Yeah, and if we get frost, it's
gone in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a hard thing. All right, I'm gonna try this. This may or may not work, but we're gonna see what happens here. Okay, let's see if I don't know. We're gonna look and see if that works. I don't know if they can see that. I'm trying to look and see.
Is it working? We don't know. We don't know.
No, it's not.
It's not working.
Let's see how I can.
We were going to show you how with Grov Edge. Look like Mama got it figured out.
Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Capture. Let's see. Don't know that it's going
Strike
to
a
let
pose,
me.
there's nothing to it. Vogue.
Don't know. Anyway, what we were going to show you, since it doesn't look like we can get it to come up, is...
There's a big lag. I'm waiting for me to do Vogue on that one before.
Don't know. Well, we'll see in just a second if it works or not. Let's see here.
There's the Vogue thing. And nothing.
And nothing. Oh, it says Google Chrome. Why is it not showing?
Give it a minute. You're gonna break stuff.
Trying to break things here.
We probably should have done this.
Well, I was going to try and figure it out ahead of time, but it wasn't going to work. So, I guess...
Well, maybe you gotta open up Google Chrome now. Because, see, that screen is black.
What's here. See? That's what I have. It's not doing it for me.
Oh, okay.
So, let's see what that is. I'll just have to figure it out.
We were going to show you guys through our GrowVeg.com account how to set up and design your food forest or your raised bed garden, and how you can start to plan this out now in the winter time. And so that way you're ahead of the game and you know what goes where. Because GrowVeg has an immense library of different plants and stuff, and they'll put up a real big, like, it'll turn the whole square red if they're not supposed to go together.
So I did a video a couple weeks ago, and there is a screen capture on that one. So if you haven't seen that video, it was the one. Let me see if I can find it for you real quick. It was the one called Never Enough Compost. If you go back and watch that, in that video, I talk about GrowVeg, and I did do a screen capture there and filmed it so that you could see it. So you can look on there and see, and basically if you set up your GrowVeg to where it shows, you start putting your stuff in rows, or even if you do square foot, it'll do that as well. If you keep a record of that, and here's the other kicker, you stay true to that plan when you actually put the stuff in the ground, then when you go to plan your garden for the following year, it will say, nope, it'll have a big red box that'll be like, nope, can't put it here. So if you go to drag it to put it there, it'll highlight it in red to let you know that you should
That
not
way
be.
you can keep up your plant rotation. How you doing the Cajun Homestead? This is the first time I think I've seen you in here myself. So welcome. And they said they have a few, what is that?
Satsumas.
Satsuma navel oranges and a few figs that I have to plant probably in February, which is around
Normal
time here in Southwest Louisiana. Yeah, February is our best time for snow, so we can't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
here.
the end of January, beginning of February is usually, if we're going to get some.
That's when it's going to happen. Right around Valentine's Day is usually when it pops and rears its ugly head. That's really cool. Now, what type of orange is that?
Well, it's different. Satsuma is different than a navel orange.
Oh, okay.
Satsuma's Hama.
What is a Satsuma?
It's a type of citrus. Hold on, I'll show you a picture.
I've never heard of that.
You really haven't?
Mm-mm.
It's like a
Tangerine?
It's like it's a citrus.
Oh, there's a mini
like
oranges.
a mandarin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a mandarin orange.
Okay.
Back up a little bit. Kim asked, is there any advice for growing while living in an apartment upstairs? Yes. There's plenty. And let me tell you, I've even seen some of this in practice up in Clemson. I was very proud of these kids that were doing this. They were growing in buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And then they must have had an arrangement with their neighbor upstairs because they had a balcony. And they had taken string and tied it from the edge of their balcony to the bottom rung of like where their balcony would be at the bottom, like how it has the slats, and they tied them there, and they were growing beans and peas, anything that would climb, they were growing on those strings. It was the coolest thing. I was so proud. Like, I was like, good job. So you can grow. I've seen people grow tomatoes out of buckets, even hanging them upside down, growing them just straight up in buckets. We grew squash in buckets this past summer.
And they did phenomenal.
And they did phenomenal. It helped with the pest resistant or with the pest problem.
The Homestead Network days. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's so cool. Thanks for sticking around after all of that. And,
Lone Star, what's up?
and
Speaking of
staying.
people knowing how to grow stuff in apartments.
Lone Star, right there. That's your answer, Kim. Lone Star, when he first started out, before he got his homestead, and he used to fuss at me all the time. I think he would get frustrated with me because we were talking about growing your own food, and he at that particular time lived in an apartment. His wife was in medical school, and he inspired our Grow Food Not Lawns series, where we ripped out the entire.
We knocked out a bunch of trees. Like I was looking on, I think it's like Howls or one of those like old like the websites where you can look up your address and look and see what things look like. And to think about how much shade was in this front area compared to what it looks like now is ridiculous. Like it was so dark in the front, and now it's like all nice and bright out front. So pretty cool. So watched y'all back when Two Family was doing the weekly.
Yeah, they've disappeared too.
Yep.
But you know, Jonathan, Lone Star Living. Oops, sorry, dude. That was a TBI slip, buddy. I'm sorry. Wow. It really messed me up. Anyway, he had a successful container garden. Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, she's not in here right now. I believe she's at work. Unfortunately, she's working on Saturday nights now. Before she moved, they lived in an apartment, and she worked it out with the apartment complex to
to what?
There was like a little pathway in between the two buildings that really some people used to walk their dogs with and stuff like that. Well, she got them to basically let them use like a little corner, and she put grow bags and buckets, and I think she bought one of those little raised bed things that lifted it up real kind of about 4 foot, like that. One of the things that you can do in your apartment complex is you can get with the management there and maybe start a community garden and get more.
Does he really like to be called John?
I don't know.
Oops. We call him Jonathan all the time.
And you know, try to get more of your neighbors involved. I don't know what your apartment building looks like, but maybe the rooftop gardens.
Yeah, it really kind of just depends on what your situation is. Like, you're on the bottom floor where you just, because she was on the bottom floor, so she was able to she had to put up a little, like, miniature fence.
I think she was on the second floor.
Not this past year. Because remember, she had to put up the signs because the dogs were coming by and pooping around and stuff.
I'm thinking she was on. I wish she was in here. I think she was on the second floor, and she just made arrangements with the apartment complex. Because see, a lot of those apartment complexes, they're all for doing stuff to build community in that apartment complex. I am a huge fan of rooftop gardens and rooftop farms. Believe it or not, that is a thing. The city of Greenville in South Carolina, downtown, there's a couple of little restaurants that's gotten together, and they grow a lot of produce up on the roof. It's a big thing in New York City, from my understanding. Rooftop gardens. Now, of course, up there they just grow grass and flowers and stuff. But you could take on a rooftop, if it's big enough and sturdy enough, you could even have a little mini chicken coop up there, like they have pigeons. You could do a little mini chicken coop up there, and you could keep honeybees up there. There's a lot of stuff that you could do up on that rooftop that a lot of people would not know was going down. And
I love Jonathan so much. He said, my apartment complex didn't know it, but they let me keep quail on my patio for over a year. They didn't know it, but they let me.
And again, it's always easier to say I'm sorry than
ask for permission. That's absolutely true. And as long as you don't have 200 of them on your patio, they're not super loud. It's when you get like a lot of them that you start to notice that they're loud.
I'm just like, if I ever got forced to where I'd have to live in a city, I would be one of those people that would be growing and having a small farm on the rooftop.
I'd be focusing on some aquaponics too.
Yeah, aquaponics is good, but water weighs a lot. Because like when we were in Augusta and we were with that working at that private school, they had a program that they were talking about cutting out. I don't know if they did or not because funds were running low, where they were feeding the homeless in that area every Wednesday night. And I encouraged them and even told them that I'd even work with them and try to get some of the companies involved to help to do a roof, because they had a beautiful flat roof up there. Oh man, you talking about growing some food up there, because their whole building was like their whole property was like one whole city block. And it was mostly building. It was mostly the church, the school, daycare center. We could grow food to completely sustain that Wednesday night supper, minus the meat. So all they would have been out is the protein source. And that's if they didn't want to go all out with chickens.
Right.
But man, and it's beneficial too, because you start putting that's why in the 90s the live roof became very popular. Carrabba's still does it to this day. And believe it or not, that actually helps with the heating and cooling bill for the building, because you got that extra layer of insulation up there. And it helps with water retention, water runoff, because as that rainwater is hitting it, your plants are sucking it up. There's a lot of beneficial things to it if you can get some people to see past the end of their nose. That's something that you could just ask, But I think I would bet dollars to donuts that at your apartment complex, if you talked about setting up a community garden in a little grassy knoll somewhere, that they would be all for it, because that's something that they could advertise to make their apartment complex better than the other one down the way. So, you could leave that up, and you might even be able to get some of your rent taken off for being in charge of it.
She says I live directly above the office. Yeah, I could see that. Winslow says chickens support animals. Yeah, you could probably do that. But yeah, the whole thing being that you have to live within your means of what you can and can't grow. You were talking about water weighs a lot. I'm not thinking about a big, huge system. I was just talking about on a smaller scale.
Well, you could do hydroponics.
I was just thinking about the fish.
Yeah. And, the aquaponics would be really good, too, on the patio. But a lot of that hydroponics, you could use PVC pipe and stuff. I think that's what a lot of people use. And then have those grow cups that they slide down in, and you can run them vertical or horizontal. and just you would have a water basin at the bottom, small like pond pump or something like that to move the water up, and then it just runs and gravity feeds all the way down and comes back down into the water.
I wonder if you could make those little cups out of just like plastic cups, like the little gargle cups that you get from.
You probably could, but you would want a bigger cup to full grow, you know. But with that, you're going to be looking at a lot of your wet foot type of vegetables.
Right. Anyway.
You know, you could do cucumbers, you could do melons, but you could do any of your leafy greens, strawberries.
Yeah. I don't know. You have to.
Because we were very successful with our aquaponics system before we moved with
I'm not talking to you, Geeky Gardens.
strawberries.
I can't stand that they live in Florida. I'm just kidding. I'm jealous. 30 tomato plants in a grow tower already in Florida. I wish we had that.
Aren't
kind
they
of
fixing to
weather.
get? Ain't y'all fixing to get hammered by a big storm, or you did get
know.
hammered?
One thing I did want to bring up here real quick. I don't know how many of you are familiar, and I'm gonna butcher their name. Let me find it real quick. Rosinski. I know they're kind of in our area. They live close to where Jess and Maya are. We saw them at the Farm Where You Live conference. Shannon and Steve. I don't know how many of y'all have seen on have seen on Facebook that they lost their 4-year-old son this past week. So if you would keep them in your thoughts and prayers, it's a pretty sad situation. No parent should ever have to bury their child.
They had a GoFundMe up to help with medical expenses, but now it's been turned into
funeral expenses.
With funeral expenses. I saw today that the funeral will be on Tuesday, and the viewing and everything that'll be happening on Tuesday.
It's just, I mean, y'all, it's so close to Christmas. Like it's awful. So. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. That it
happened fast.
Yeah, it was a very quick thing. It happened
fast.
like within a week, I think. It was.
I mean, the kid was fine. All of a sudden, he started getting sick, and then in that same day, next thing you know, they were in the ICU, and then a couple of days later,
and that was it.
he was home with Jesus.
So I just wanted to bring that up, not to like spoil what we got going on here, but I wanted to make sure that we said something about it before we get out of here. So
also today is Jess's birthday, if you didn't know. So
yes, if you didn't know,
go over to her Facebook page and say happy taco birthday from Big Bear Homestead and just blow up her page.
Yeah, if you haven't already, if you already know.
Yeah. Just blow it up anyway. And
so Kim said, can you guys just come here for a trip and help me set it up? Didn't you say you were coming to Gatlinburg? Actually, I've been to Gatlinburg. I went there back in August.
I've never been to Gatlinburg.
It's really cool. I was actually...
Is that where all the elk were?
I was actually in Sevierville. But you got to go through Gatlinburg to get to Sevierville. No, the elk were before that, like on the way to Gatlinburg. So we would, if we went through up to Gatlinburg, you would probably see the elk.
Kim, see if you can get permission. And if you can get permission and we can swing it, we'll come up and help.
Yeah.
But you got to get permission, and we got to find an Airbnb or someplace to stay. And but if you can get permission and we can narrow it down on something, we'll come up and help you set it up.
Cajun Homestead said, I just ordered about 50 Vedora onion sets from Haas this week. I have 2 more varieties left. 35 minutes from Pigeon Forge. Yeah. Yeah, Sevierville's pretty. We were up there back in August. It was crazy because the minute we pulled up, we were staying in an Airbnb. It was a women's retreat. And as we pulled up the driveway, we saw a black bear trying to get in to one of the coolers in one of the ladies' trucks. It was pretty funny. I'd never seen one that close before. It was probably only about, maybe 15, 20 feet away from me. It was nuts. It was crazy. I never really thought about how big they actually are. And this guy, he was just a juvenile, because you could tell. It was like summertime, so they're not real thick and fat, Their fur's not real big and fluffy. He was just really nice, sleek.
Fluffy.
Huh? Yeah.
Did you get out there and try to pet him?
I would have. Not really. 20 minutes from Sevierville. Yeah. So, yeah, we could figure that out. I think it's about 4 hours for us. Yep. Oop. All right, so, penny shy. What was that?
No.
That's not even funny. No! You're such an a-hole. Oh, you are so not good. I didn't even realize what was going on. You're so mean. Ow. Spot me, Jason. Yeah, Kim, you definitely need to come see our place.
Anytime.
Although I can't promise that he'll still be around. Can't promise that he will still be here. Man, you like ripped my ear off. Wow. Anyway. No, get away from me. No, because you're going to try and do it again. No.
Trust.
No, none. Absolutely none. None. Man, y'all, I think I'm coming down with something in my throat. We had a kid in church last week that tested positive for strep on Monday. So I'm hoping that I don't have strep throat. I really don't want strep. But my throat's been bothering me for the last 2 days. So there you go.
I don't even feel bad about giving you a wet willy. Because all day you be like, come give me some kisses.
Yep. And I didn't even need anybody to just give me $20 to do it. Stop.
Protect your kidneys.
Okay, so are we going to do an after show?
Yeah, we need to.
Oh no, the plague. We've all had it. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of craziness going on. Elderberry syrup. I wish I had elderberry syrup. I think we finished the last of our elderberries. I love Gatlinburg. I could live there. Did the zip line outside of town. It is an awesome place to visit. It is. It's a really nice. We were
April.
We were in Sevierville.
What are you thinking?
And then we went into Gatlinburg on the way home. And it was, or no, not Gatlinburg. We went into Gatlinburg. That's where I got my old-timey pictures done, was in Gatlinburg. But then Pigeon Forge, we drove through Pigeon Forge on the way home.
That's where Dollywood is, right?
Yes. And it was, actually, I think it's Sevierville, isn't it? I don't know, Turmeric. Yeah. I gotta get something. I had some Paul's or Vicks or something, some kind of cough drops earlier was helping, but it's been a rough day. To visit, yes, it's horrid to travel. Oh, yeah, I can't even imagine. Like, the weekend that we went was the weekend of it was the weekend of the Jeep conference or whatever. Like,
that would be great.
What did he
Mind
say?
and Body, ship us some
if you need a bag
of it, I'll ship you guys.
Oh, the elderberries? Oh, if you could do that, that would be, like, amazing. Because we definitely make some fire cider. It's
That
really
stuff,
rough.
That stuff is great.
It peels paint off the wall.
So nasty.
Like, it is really rough.
Yeah, but it kills me.
But I will tell you one thing that we've been doing. I don't know how many of y'all saw our flu box video. But a couple of the things that we've added to it over the years, one of them is hot tea bags. Because that's one thing that's very nice and soothing when you're not feeling well, is to be able to have hot tea. And the problem with us is that we like hot tea on any day. If any of y'all been around long enough to watch our live streams back in the day, like, we would sit down and
remember
have
when we had that pot?
and we would have hot tea while we were sitting watching, you know. So so we would have hot tea every day if we had it here. And so what we had to do was get some hot tea bags and put them in the flu box so that they're there specifically for that. And so I jumped into those last night, and we had some sleepy time honey, and that worked wonders for me to go to bed.
Karen says that she puts turmeric and honey in her tea
Or cocoa.
Out of all the people that I know,
Uh-huh.
there's only one person that I can honestly say I can see them drinking cocoa. And
Uh-huh.
that's Karen.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Kim says the Jeep excursion and the rod run weekends need to be avoided. I will tell you, it took us over an hour to get less than a mile. It was very frustrating. I was having flashbacks of Myrtle Beach back in the 90s. It was not cool.
If you visit the state parks, plan to stay a while. One lane in, one lane out.
So one cool thing we saw, and I have to get on this and figure out how to do it, but if any of y'all are veterans in the chat, there is actually a way for veterans to now get a lifelong pass to all of the state and federal parks. So you should look into that and see about getting that, because we have quite a few parks around here that we would be able to get into if we had that. Otherwise, it's a nickel and diming situation. It's like it's $3 a park, it's this to that, and after a while it just gets to be too much. But if you're a veteran, you should look into that. I may post the link for that in the nation one of these days. Yeah, Windswept, they don't drink coffee, so hot cocoa is definitely a thing.
Yeah, they didn't drink coffee when they were down, did they?
No. Coffee is too brutal on my stomach these days. Makes sense given it's one of the most chemically sprayed crops. I believe that.
Well, look, when I was hard doing the carnivore diet before I started adding the vegetables and stuff back on it, coffee was my saving grace. With that much protein, it kind of backs up the plumbing, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And so the coffee it was the rooter. Sometimes it'd take 2-3 cups, but man, I was loving me some coffee. Mm-hmm. I'm a big tea drinker more than a coffee drinker, but since I started that lifestyle and that way of eating, it was really...
Yeah, see, Geeky Garden said, I got my lifetime pass at the entrance to Yellowstone. Show your driver's license with the veteran stamp, and they give it to me. Many state parks honor it as well. Yeah, that's what I'm finding out here, is that our state parks will honor it. So, if you're a veteran, you should definitely look into that. Because like Kim said, Smoky Mountains, they just started charging $5 a day to park. Like that park that we went to, it was the same way. Like you had to pay $5 just to be able to park your car and then walk around. So, you know.
In all, they gotta. Look, I'm not
They have
mad
to be
at
able to
them
pay, right?
because the federal government is not keeping up their end of the deal to help pay the bills there. So,
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, that it's not warranted to have to pay that kind of stuff. However, every little bit helps.
Okay, so we're going to end this live stream here, and we're going to pick up the conversation back about growing your food in the after show. If you're not a member, you have about 10 or 15 minutes to join to catch us in the after show. It has to be Panda Bear or above. Mm-hmm. And we'd love to have you in it. Last week, we had a lot of the members in there. We had 2 or 3 members.
3. Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 members in there. And we had a wonderful conversation.
We had a really good conversation.
We had great conversation in there last week. And a lot of good ideas and questions and everything came up. And instead of it being 30 minutes, it went
almost an hour. The other cool thing about these membership things is once you become a member, you have access to previous live streams. Mm-hmm. So you can actually go back and watch those previous live streams as well. Yep. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, look at her. All right. So we're going to go ahead and...
I want to thank Lone Star tonight.
Sheila, sorry.
For his super chat. And I want to welcome Dutch Off-Grid to the membership family. He just signed up. And so you guys, hey, with that little bit of that part of the community is starting to grow.
Yeah.
Ships and stuff
and don't forget next week's live stream.
Next week's live stream, 10 of y'all are getting Panda Bear and one person's getting a Kodiak Bear membership for a whole month for free as a gift from us. And so, boom. And that's something that if YouTube permits and they keep doing it, we'll probably start to run monthly contests
to be able to give that away.
To be able to give those things away and to help keep that going. So we'll see you guys next week in the live show. Be paying attention. Be watching out for the email for the videos that came out. We've had a couple of hiccups this week trying to get those emails out. I don't know if y'all got them or not, but we put a video out on yesterday and today.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And we got another one coming out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, the shorts every night around 9, 10 o'clock. Great conversations going on in the nation on Facebook. And Robin and Carol and Dessa have been sharing some really cool pictures on Instagram and some stuff going on. So if you want to find out what we're doing and what's going on, those other social media platforms is where to go.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for coming and hanging out with us. We love y'all. Remember, keep your head on a swivel. Keep preparing and keep getting ready to keep walking down that road to living a sustainable lifestyle. We'll see y'all next week. God bless. Okay, this is the part in the show where I say I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Don't forget to check out our sponsors. Miss April has been putting those links up throughout the chat. Stack actually has some really cool t-shirts and stuff that they're selling and stuff that they got going on right now. So go ahead and go check out their stuff and get yourself some tractor t-shirts. Be amazing. Don't forget, share the fact that we're going to be giving away some of those memberships next week. And I would love to get back to where we had 50, 60 people in our live show. So we'll see